Hi, good morning. We are here to present a demo session on PowerShell training. This is a demo on PowerShell, which is a language for system administration and other audiences who want to do automation kind of work for different platforms like Windows, Unix, and even right now for Mac OS also. So in this demo, we are going to cover complete PowerShell language with almost all the topics that are needed to cover up all the scenarios in which PowerShell language is used in general terms also, as well as in the industry. So myself, and I have 8+ years of experience as a professional experience as a software developer and programmer, and I was also a software architect. So I worked for all good number of companies to get all the professional experiences. I have a diverse kind of experiences in computer programming, basically different computer technologies which I am involved, which involves like C languages, C++, Python, desktop application programming, electronics, robotics, including PowerShell, which I have like being in touch because DevOps is now coming as a good area in which developers and like administrators goes hand in hand in a team, and both have to have good understanding with each other, and both will have to be able to know there are tools which both of the type of roles are using. So mainly the PowerShell is used for system administration and by system administrators guys, but PowerShell is a general automation language that is much used on the client PCs by the developers also. And yeah, we know well that PowerShell is obviously has an extensive use on system administration side. So yeah, so I have a good understanding of PowerShell as a language because I have a good experience on programming for like a lot of years, and I'm able to take all your doubts and queries on this PowerShell language and let you master if you are with me, and we have a good learning sessions. So we are here to initially give you some gist, a demo, so that you have certain kind of an understanding that if you take this course, what you will gain later on, and you have a decision on what you will should you go for this course, or this technology, this topic are you a good audience of this topic? Is this technology is made for you, and is the content of this this training is going to be fruitful for you? So this demo is there to answers all that queries by giving certain kind of an initial demo session, like demo training, so you get a real experience what you will be gaining as a whole training throughout this training course. They will give you the initial kind of an experience of this training through this demo. So we are like covering here few topics. They are essential topics, but they are also basic so that you don't want to go deep inside that things, but you go get the answers at a very introductory level, that it is a right training or right technology for you to learn, and you also get familiar with this technology which are going on, that is PowerShell. So the topics are getting started without Windows PowerShell. If we once we have a PowerShell, then we have to do development of that different tools, different tasks using this tool. So we have to set up the development environment. So we are going to set up rather than in this demo session, we are not going to set up the whole environment, but we are going to show you like the basics of setting up the PowerShell environment, so that we will start doing hands-on on this language, practicals on this language, and gives real hands-on experience for our enhanced learning. And then we cover the syntax of the PowerShell language itself. Basically, earlier we were doing certain kind of an automation work, that is kind of an batch kind of an programming work using older technologies like Windows command prompt, and basically I am talking about this part, like when we are talking about syntax of the PowerShell, we are using Windows command earlier in like with respect to Windows operating system, that is basically just commands and we make small programs. But PowerShell is a computer language. It has a very much kind of an benefits and power inside it. So advantages different, or a lot of advantages. So every computer language has a syntax of its own. So we will be understanding the PowerShell syntax in this topic, so that if we have a good understanding of that PowerShell language, each commandlets, and working with objects, the syntax of that, we can easily convey our intentions of any task in hand very precisely in a very optimized way into the PowerShell language, using the different coding tools used to write our intentions. So this is a part of this syntax of the PowerShell topic. And there is one topic in PowerShell. This is known as variables, arrays, and hash table. Those persons who are not are familiar with earlier any computer languages. So since PowerShell is a computer language, though not very much hard as other general purpose languages like C, C++, Java, Python, etc. But because since the computer language, it contains the concepts about a little bit about programming. So this is a part of that. Each and every computer language have these concepts of variables, arrays, and hash tables. We will be covering this topic in this. We will covering this topic, specific topic here. We will covering this specific topics in this demo, because this is very essential topic. Unless for learning computer language you are not clear about the fundamentals of the language at the first place, then developing advanced concepts on later on will not be fruitful for any learner, because they are based on fundamentals at the first place. Throughout the course, we will not go very fast. We will not go also slow to cover the things in time. but we will cover up the fundamentals very strongly, so that whenever you go for the next level, you have the clear understanding to base yourself on the earlier learnings you have done. For any question and answers, I am always available uh, during training, or and as per my ability, through like kind of a little bit of coordination of, after post training also, for any difficulties which are faced during this training session. So we so I think audiences or the learners should be get assured that once we will learn this language through this training, we have a good hands-on and mastery of the PowerShell language as such. Demo I will give, but because we will not stopping here, we will covering the whole training, and this whole training is accompanied by the complete, a good amount of PowerShell language contains, like containing information, and that is in form of complete, thoroughly like uh, uh, thoroughly designed curriculum of Mindmajix PowerShell training. So I have like this training I have named with title Thinking in PowerShell. I want to give a gist of this. Basically, I want to give the gist of like this topic, like what is meant by thinking in PowerShell. Thinking in PowerShell is like it is not about just seeing the things as they are literally present in the books or in a training, or any other resources for to say in general, like internet or whatsoever. You have to get the understanding of the the concepts into your mind, so that when you have to uh, create your own task using PowerShell, you can think about those concepts, fundamentals, and then map those fundamentals to your applications, to your task in hand, to your jobs in hand, or the PowerShell scripts you have to write. So this aim of this training and myself as a computer programmer is to let you have a good understanding of the sense of the PowerShell in your mind, so that it is not just as a theoretical learning, but it is in your mind, so that you can convert and map those things when some task comes in your hand in real time, in your job, or like in a profession, any profession. And or like you can also like if you have good understanding, and this is also good for your like job interviews, like obviously like you have to answer those like concepts to the intended audiences of the company. So yeah, so this is about I will make you think, I will make you learn and think in PowerShell. I will let the concepts go very concisely, very comprehensively, like not skipping the things and doing superficial level, to let the things into mind, get into your mind, so that you can use it for your uh, purposes, different purposes. So the first topic is getting started with Windows PowerShell, and this is like having a this basically introduction on Windows PowerShell. So this topic is also very much necessary like any other topic, because we are like here to understand the language, each and every part, so that we have a good understanding of the second layers and part. So anyone who is getting familiar with the technology, he has to be knowing uh, why he is a good audience of that technology at the first phase. So this first topic will let your all question answer answered with respect to why PowerShell is designed and what things we can do with PowerShell. And as a computer language, starting from version 1.0 till the latest version of version 7 of PowerShell, how the evolution of PowerShell language has been done and what changes have been made for the good or the bad. How we are affected with this evolution of the PowerShell till date, so that we can make good decisions of what kind of a PowerShell language we are using right now, and how to accurately get the benefits of that newer versions of PowerShell features, or how should be working with the older version of PowerShell if we are needing for the legacy reasons. Second topic is about setting up the environment. So setting up the environment, like as I said, Windows PowerShell is a computer language, and we have to do development in it. And development needs a software development environment. We are not going to build very any complex kind of requirement, but in PowerShell we create PowerShell scripts, and recently we are also making lightweight PowerShell tools, that is in general said as PowerShell softwares, utilities to do our task. So for that we have to create the development environment, and this development environment is divided into two parts. First part is Windows PowerShell and its editor, integrated script editor, which we say commonly ICE. In Windows server environment, we still have the use of ICE, but presently in latest version of PowerShell, we are stopping the use of this editor. But because of legacy reasons, we have to touch base this topic, because if we are working with Windows Server and this very powerful script editing environment come, that is ICE for Windows PowerShell, we should be knowing that things so that it should not stop our work. But for the latest version of PowerShell, we are using a new kind of an development environment and tool from Microsoft, that is cross-platform, that is it can be used seamlessly with a similar concepts, similar syntax in all platforms, that is Windows, Unix, and Mac OS. So if you learn PowerShell in one environment, that is any of the one environment, same knowledge without any change can be applied to any other platform. No worries, your knowledge will be not going anywhere if you learn at one platform. We will be covering, we will do the, just for the sake of simplicity, we will be doing training in Windows operating system environment, and but the concepts will be applied same and seamlessly to every other environment without any change at all. So for this environment, we have development tool called Visual Studio Code, which is a free PowerShell script code editor, and it is free of cost, and it is very powerful with a lot of features like IntelliSense and color coding for each syntax, for for readable scripts, and many other features like source control integration with Git, etc., which we're going to cover up as an add-on topics later on. So we will, in setting an environment, we will be covering basically the installation of these all tools and let you get started with the development. Next, our topic is syntax of the PowerShell. It will, as I told you, it's a computer language. We have to understand the syntax of the whole language, the 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 grammar of the whole language, so that we can speak that language, convey our intentions to the computer correctly and very efficiently. Both are needed. Correctly and efficiently. We should not be, because we have found that we are writing very, we have an intention, but if we don't have a clear understanding, we can write a very verbose kind of an code in the computer. If you want to, if something can be said in 2 lines, we are writing that code in 4 or 5 lines, and if for a whole programs, that number will increase to some, multiple line of code, that will increase the execution time of a program, that will increase the memory footprint of your program. So we have to understand the syntax of this language very deep, with the full care. It is not hard. It will be very easy, but what our intentions, our vision should be clear, that we should understand, so that we should write our intention in a least possible, uh, you know least possible way. In PowerShell language, we say as commands, we should use least possible commands. We should use least possible PowerShell resources while writing our intentions or code in PowerShell language, using this PowerShell language. So we can do this only if we have a good understanding and grasp of the PowerShell language syntax and its associated commands. So this is the vision of this chapter, to make you do that. So, and we will cover up in the 4th chapter, we will go into application of this language little bit, give you familiarity that, okay, if this is a language, how it's mapped to, real application and real scenario jobs. So as said, it is heavily used in Windows system administration. In Windows system administration, everybody knows there are a lot of work is done with respect to automation in Active Directory. So we will see what is there in PowerShell for basically Active Directory work, and we will see here, like, not very complex command, because we will be at this point of time in curriculum at a very basic level of understanding of PowerShell. So we will see a very simple command, and just to show application of the PowerShell in Active Directory domain, and we will see also certain kind of an application in of PowerShell using in computer network configurations and other system administrative related tasks, which can be done to PowerShells in this topic. So that the interest of this topic is to let you get a little bit of motivation, that after learning how the PowerShell can be beautifully applied to help you in your different tasks and application in real life scenarios. 5th topic is visual recovery. That is very important topic in PowerShell. That is known as PowerShell pipelines. This is whenever I teach PowerShell, I think I treat this topic as a heart of the PowerShell. So I will have an interest that learners should take this topic very seriously. PowerShell pipeline, for those who are not aware of these concepts, or those who do not have any familiarity with any computer language, pipeline is like basically it's a keyboard character, pipe. pipe cutter vertical bar present on keyboard. And with respect to this PowerShell language, this when we use this operator, that vertical bar while writing the commands of PowerShell, we can join the commands, different commands into single line. So if we want to write efficient PowerShell code, efficient PowerShell scripts, we should be having good understanding of joining different commands, uh, so that we can, if our job is divided, like our task in hand is divided into multiple objectives, like 4 or 5 simple objectives. So rather than writing different lines for same objective, uh, and we can we can just pass input of one command to the other and join all the commands and get the final result in a single line. So it will make our program more um, kind of an object oriented, like what the objective we want to accomplish, it can be accomplished in a single line. And also it will become more efficient with respect to computer, like program uh, performance constraints, like it should be very precise, it should be readable to the other programmers, because if we write a lot of codes unnecessary, it is very hard to maintain for others, because they are saying unnecessary code which is not giving any objective. And it should be very kind of it should have been low running time. So this can only be done if we are writing beautiful commands in least amount of code space. Uh, so yeah, so PowerShell pipeline lets us join different commands into single lines, taking inputs of one command and then passing through this vertical line operator to the other command, and then finally giving us the final output within a single line of kind of an expression. So we will be yeah. I was just I really want to mention one thing, that this course is very uh, very kind of a moderate space. It will take you with all the concepts and theories that are involved, but rather than it also, it is taken care that in each learning module you will be getting a real hands-on on each concept that you learn same day, that is on same session or the next session for that topic, so that your mind get trained by gaining the practice and the practical knowledge both. Because you type, you will do the typing and all the hands-on work, you will get practice. And when you will see what exactly you have to write with your own, you will get that practical knowledge, which ultimately will help you when something comes in your professional environment. Because ultimately you have to do the same thing, you can just map because you have already done. So labs are associated with all learning modules. It is taken care. So you are not left behind to have the theories only just stick to your mind at some superficial levels. There, through these labs, the concepts of each modules will go a little bit deep inside your mind, so that you can use without referring any learning material, like for simpler or general purpose tasks. Obviously, for like any complex or missing kind of information, you have to look up on the different reference sources like internet, books. But with respect to journal PowerShell language, or like basic PowerShell language, you are good enough to do everything from your own, because you have done those things as a practical at each learning modules. And it is taken care by me, that if you face any issues during practicals, I am here to help you with all the tools and environment to let you set up and cover up your audio with respect to theory as well as lab. So in this pipeline, we will cover up the lab, like how to input by value, how to see the property by property name, to explore the different objects to commandlets, and show some advanced pipeline techniques in the next chapter, because they are connected. Chapter 6. 6 is like pipeline in deep, because pipeline is a crux of the PowerShell language. So we will be covering from A to Z this topic with a, again say, with a moderate space, but yes, we will be covering this topic to the full, with a simple training method, not going very complex in programming, etc. Whatever is really essential and needed is will be delivered to you, as per your understanding level. So the 7th chapter is with PowerShell providers. I will not go into deep because we have to cover the demo session as such. Basically, providers are the containers, are data storage containers with different structures. Like files in computers are stored with having a different data structure. Different files are stored having a different structure. Windows registry is also storing information, but it has a different structures. Active Directory and server environment has also information about different users and their associated security roles, but it also has a different structure. Using providers in PowerShell, we are able to access these different information containers using same set of commands, same sets of concept, with little bit of syntax difference, but almost same set of like concepts and commands, so that using familiar kind of set of commands, we can have ability to access all these different kind of information, containers, rather than learning different commands for each type of containers. So this like kind of an help, a leverage is given by PowerShell providers in this PowerShell language technology. So, and it is very useful because we have to work with all these different types of information containers while doing our work with during system administration, or like on the client PC also. So we have to use providers in day-to-day job routines. So we have to understand this, and we will also bring the lab on this. Then there is topic that is second major topics, like working with variables, arrays, and hash table. This is also one of the core topics of the PowerShell. Basically, those who are familiar with the computer programming language, they don't need any introduction on this topic. But since it is very important topic, I want to say that you should have a little familiarity of this concept, because it is used very vastly during all the development, any program in general, and also in the PowerShell language. So variables are simplest kind of information containers. Sometimes you have to store something, you will store that thing. So, and basically you store that thing in memory so that you can do later complex task on that. Like if you store that thing and you want to multiply something to that, then you will divide that result with something. So if you want to work with certain information and let keep it for some time in a persistent, like for long time, in a long time manner, you need a certain container in a memory. That containers are called variables. The advanced form of variables is arrays. It is a collection of variables with the same objective. This is a collection of similar kind of variables in a one set. So if you have like certain group of people sharing same characteristics, like basically set of like any numbers, like set of even numbers, So they are having a common kind of property. So we can keep it in a one kind of an collection, a set, to represent, have a unity, and this shares kind of a common property. But because they are different, so we have a different variables grouped into one kind of an unit, and that we call that unit we call arrays. And arrays are used in lot of problems in general for in computers programming, and also in PowerShell to to achieve our objective in the right way. And then the most advanced form of variables is hash tables. It is a dictionary kind of an structure in which we have a key pair. So so that is also needed, that we should have this kind of a structures to learn while doing our programming. And we will cover up this one more important topics that is usually left out, that is objects in PowerShell. PowerShell is an object based language. It has objects. Objects is like most uh, powerful information containing platform in computer programming language. And they are very advanced form of information containing units. And if we are able to use objects properly, we can write really very uh, uh, readable, efficient programs, and also very powerful programs like complex programs in and scripts in PowerShell. So we will. This is a little bit advanced topic, but because this is very essential topic, so those who want to get are motivated to learn this topic for their future needs, I really want to touch base this topic here in this at the right time, because it is just needed. Because when we understand variables at a hash table, if we left or if we are leaving this topic, it is very useful. And if a person doesn't have at all knowledge on this, he will be having a very hard time to understand any advanced concepts if they need for their task in future. So yeah, for later learnings, I will give references for different audiences, like how they can go and find advanced learning material from other sources. I'll give them references if they want to go ahead with their more learning on this topic. Then we will cover basic scripting. Basic scripting, PowerShell script. PowerShell, like what is a script? As such, script is like a PowerShell computer program. We write when we write commands, they are only one-liner things. When we write two or more multiple lines of commands into one single unit as a program, that is known as a script. And when we write this program using PowerShell technology, this is known as PowerShell script. So we will be doing PowerShell scripting here. We will have a good lab on this topic, which cover multiple scenarios of writing the script and using the commands to get the learners and get familiar with little bit about the script writing skill. That is the main part of this whole learning language. You are learning language to do what? The output of the language should be our intentions should be converted into certain kind of an beautiful computer program, and that is known as PowerShell script. So we will having this lab which will cover different aspects of writing a script at the beginner level. That is setting a script or taking some input from the user, showing the output to the user, processing an array, and different extra things that are needed in day-to-day routine job of writing the script. Then we will learn advanced scripting. Advanced scripting is the second part of this scripting. It is not that we will always be writing simpler scripts, because depending upon the real professional work, In the real professional and production environment, we are not doing basic things. We are doing professional things to accomplish very complex tasks, advanced tasks for our jobs or professional activities. So we are needing PowerShell to do advanced works, and that needs a skill of advanced scripting. And this chapter 10 is based on this concept, and this will let you learn that skill with a full confidence, I can say. So it has it has a lot of kind of an in between concepts. They are very essential, but they are very much covered in this module, like functions, PowerShell functions, errors and exception handling in PowerShell, and PowerShell modules. Very important topic about writing modular programs, that is programs that are configurable according to the need in the future. If we don't want certain kind of an code to be a part of that, our earlier code, we can detach that code part very easily if we are using PowerShell modules. So it is the program. So if we don't need certain part, we can take out that part easily through PowerShell modules, and our program will become lightweight. Or if we want to add certain part in future to the existing legacy programs, we can also add that parts using PowerShell modules. So it is a very important concept in scripting, and we will learning that through different labs here. Then we will covering the concept of PowerShell remoting. It is a very important concept, but very generally used. So we will be covering PowerShell remoting concept, in which that is used as such to do all the tasks in PowerShell, but in a remote sensing manner. Like we will be this particular facility in the PowerShell give us ability to execute the PowerShell code by sitting in one computer, but executing the code on another computer, which can be located anywhere, like nearby you or like far away in across the globe, anywhere, unless we have a proper connectivity among the computers, and proper security settings have been dealt in both of the machines with respect to use of PowerShell remoting. So we will be doing certain labs on this also. They will be not very extensive and advanced labs, but yes, we will be covering all the commands that can be executed in this using PowerShell remoting. And then it is upon learner to take over these concepts to any case specific scenarios into their production environments. But we will be covering all the basics of PowerShell remoting in this lab. Getting real life examples of scripting is the last chapter. When we have learned and mastered the language, we are in good place to understand and apply our learning to certain applications that we are going to face and solve in our professional life, or in our objective base, or in our certain scenario in which we have an objective that we want to do something using PowerShell. Then we should be able to map our concepts to those applications, and that can only be done if we see certain those kind of an case specific scenarios of using the PowerShell in different area. So we will use one area we will talk about Active Directory use of PowerShell. Other is Azure PowerShell, using PowerShell in monitoring related tasks, and lastly but not the least, using PowerShell in networking related tasks. and each and every topic is important, but depending upon the role of the person in industry, whether it's developer or IT industries, it is not that everybody needs everything, but yes, everybody needs what they need. So whatever is applicable to audiences, they can take that thing and leave the rest for their reference or future learning. It is not that we have to apply PowerShell in every area. Only important thing is that we have to have very good understanding of the language. This is the only major objective of a this should be the only objective of the learner during this training, and whatever is applicable to him or her, he should be applying those abilities of the PowerShell language into his particular professional domain in which it is working, whether it is Active Directory, system administration, Azure, or monitoring related work, or networking, or general PowerShell automation work, or like making tools and utilities using PowerShell. It is upon you or like audience to mold the PowerShell to do the best for them according to their scenarios. And I'm there to help audiences to figure out how it is done in real life scenario. I was interested in this training that PowerShell is very powerful programming language, and as a trainer and as a computer programmer, like having interest to make the technology basically help the person in their time when they really need any kind of functionality. And so at least they should have the concepts, basic understanding, basic like kind of a knowledge of certain topics, so that they can go forward if they have understanding of that topic at the basic level. If they don't even know about that topic at the first place, and if some application comes that need application of that topic, then at that time whole lot of important amount of uh, time of the audience, students, or any professional goes into research and everything. And then they, after spending a lot of time, they will come out and figure out, okay, thing is applied, and okay, I have to learn that thing. Then they will do the learning, and the whole lot of background work is taken. So to let those efforts of my audiences, my learners, removed out with the help of my efforts, little bit efforts, extra efforts. I have taken some additional topics at very basic level to give you introductions on that topic, so that they are very important topics of PowerShell, and but everything can't be covered uh, in one training. So to make the PowerShell language learning complete, I will give you an introduction of the left behind areas of PowerShell language, and since they are important, I will give you very good understanding, like fundamental understanding of these concepts, so that you can take away from here on this topic and do your learning with respect to references, because your fundamentals are clear, your topic is, the topic, so you can go and do your further research in the right direction in the least amount of time. That is the interest of these topics, add-on topics. And this is PowerShell security goals, PowerShell computer program debugging. If the computer program you make, it is not always correct on your first intention of writing. Every computer programs has lots of error, bugs we call in the computer programming sense. So we have to have a good computer, like a script writer, like PowerShell script writer should be having a good debugging skill. It is upon the audiences how much deep they want to go, but I will give the introduction, and then they upon you that they want to go for like how much advancement at level. But debugging is very important for good PowerShell script writers. Uh, .NET is a complete platform to make any big softwares from Microsoft. Microsoft.NET is a platform to make bigger softwares in to both general purpose languages like C# C++, and and also other languages. But PowerShell being a language for different audiences which have sometimes little bit less knowledge of computer language, like system administrators and general purpose automation engineers, they are not left behind in PowerShell language. This language is the only scripting language that have taken care of the advanced need of making any kind of bigger applications. If we have a certain kind of an objective to develop certain kind of a complex application that needs a lot of facility of computer as such at hardware and software level, we can leverage the complete .NET platform using PowerShell language. So I will touch base this topic, how we can access this platform, and then it is upon you that how we can leverage this platform for our objectives for future needs. Then at the last, we will be learning a very important technique in programming known as version control. If we make a lot of scripts, then for the purpose of maintaining that scripts in future, because we have a lot of collection of multiple scripts. Some scripts looks almost similar to the others because we have changed only one or two lines. So seeing the scripts which contains a lot of statements, we can't figure out what script, how this script is different from another scripts, and but still we want to maintain all the changes into different files, a script file. So how do we maintain these changes? Like this script is this, and other script is is also there, but it's a little bit different. I have to keep this, and I want to distinguish this different script files, and also maintain it in as a repository to maintain this multiple collection of changed or modified computer programs in a efficient manner. We need version control for each version number given to the script, and that is very important general concept in computer programming. And since we are writing programs here that is known as PowerShell scripts, we need this concept version controls. It is an essential concept, but it is an advanced concept. So it is taken as an add-on topic. It is depending upon the user interest and objectives. He or she can take this topic forward if they need this thing in their professional or personal life. So this covers the complete course, and at the end of the course, we will be having a complete intermediate level of project that has kind of an objective as a whole, that it is kind of one single objective project that is having different subparts that will have the coverage of all the concepts that we have learned in the training as a theory or a practical. Then we in this project we are going to combine all those concepts learning and lab practicals learning, mapping all those concepts to one single objective to develop something useful, kind of an computer program, script based program that is not only help the learners learn the PowerShell language to a much deeper level, because they will be doing a lot of practical in this project. So things will be going inside it, since it will involve all the concepts, not all, but almost all the concepts. So it will go inside them while doing the project. And the best thing is that this project is having a very good kind of an objectives. The design of the project is very beginner friendly. It will force learners to follow PowerShell script and tool development best practices from the very early stage. how do we write a good code, what is mean by writing good code, how do we write comments, how the comments writing will help in the future, how will we do the error analysis of the program while writing the scripts. And not the least, this, when we are making this project is ultimately is very helpful for PowerShell new learners. This project is named as PowerShell Help Plus. It is an exclusively designed project using real life requirements which are needed by every developer of PowerShell community. That is script management. We write a lot of scripts, and a script is not only code, they are learning knowledge bases. They contain their own kind of an concepts, like what commands they are used inside it, what concepts are used inside it. So this PowerShell Help Plus tool, if we are able to develop, we can manage our scripts which we write using this tool. We can execute our scripts, like run our script directly using only the names of the script using this tool, so that we can on daily basis, if we have written certain kind of scripts, we can just use that script using this tool. We don't have to write again and again, and because it is only a single name written for script, we don't have to set up the environment or open PowerShell console or editor for that. It's just a button, and we see the name and just execute the script for our later use in a very kind of fast mode. So it is a script execution dashboard is there. And for best thing about this project is it has a script notes engine, that whatever you learn, you will assert that knowledge, you are able to assert that knowledge about any PowerShell concept, computer program, any PowerShell computer programs, that knowledge, that theoretical knowledge, that knowledge base from any resources directly with the script. So whenever you are working with any script, if you have any doubts, you can just refer to that knowledge by single click in click of a button. So you are because your knowledge is very readily available to you at the time of referring the scripts or writing the scripts. It will like uh, it is really help for any new learner when he or she gets his like information about working with concepts at the at the right time, and that is also always available when he or she needs it. So this is really going to help all the learners throughout their life journey of PowerShell, learning phase, until unless they acquire some good skills on the PowerShell, advanced skills, so that they can do their things on. So this project is not only help to get utilize all the concepts by developing this this project, but rather than it will also helps not only learners but any PowerShell user in general to leverage this build tool for their own. So I have made this tool free and open source software. So this whole project is given free to learners and also to everybody to use it and modify it and share to others for their needs. This is a lab setup which will basically there to do all practicals of this training and additional course resources. There are 2 point of contacts, me and Mindmajix, for getting additional course resources, which can be according to the different learning module needs. Like some modules have PowerShell scripts. If user wants, we can provide the PowerShell scripts. Each kind of an if some person wants certain kind of reference material or kind of an things to refer later on after the course, we with help of the Mindmajix can provide you after a certain turnaround time. not very much, but yeah, after feasible time, we can immediately after like some certain turnaround time, we like next day we can provide you that thing for your reference, like lecture notes or any PDFs, layer 2 lecture notes, PPTs, layer 5 lecture notes that can be provided as per the demand of the students. There is no problems in that. Because we want our students or learners or audiences uh, to get all the material, including the training, including the learning material, to get master their skill sets, what they are looking for, and not leaving them behind with anything they need to make their learning complete. So don't worry on any part that is needed that is needed to complete the learning of this, at least with specific to this PowerShell training. I'm pretty much sure that everything will be provided. Yeah, to test our understanding that we are really on the grounds of real PowerShell, mastery or not. At least we have to test ourselves, to test ourselves towards the different kind of problems which PowerShell has inside it. So we should be testing our PowerShell training learning or learning of PowerShell language in general by having mock interviews questions to the participants. If a participant is there, we will be having a mock interviews at the last. We will be having question answer session. We will be expecting um, answers from my audiences, that if they really have a good understanding of what we have made them to learn during this training, they should be able to answers, like not I mean depending upon the learning level, almost all the questions in related to PowerShell language with confidence and very accurately, and also in a very optimized way, not like kind of a verbose kind of answers which are not to the point. I think after this PowerShell training, my audiences are able to give the to the point answers on like almost every major topics of PowerShell language in general. So just to give a glimpse, like what type of areas are covered as a question of PowerShells, like what exactly is characteristics of PowerShell, and types of execution policy in PowerShell, commanders in PowerShell, and yeah, yeah, and like extending PowerShell in different ways. Then there are certifications for every technologies, but as such, PowerShells have two authorized Microsoft training courses. But these training courses will help the students not to take certification exactly on PowerShell, because there is no as such right now. But these are authorized training courses for Microsoft, and which having PowerShell topics, and either students take these courses, or or can refer the this course curriculum, and then this PowerShell language learning skill set is used to take many other Microsoft certification. It is very they are many other Microsoft certifications wants PowerShell skills. While doing those certifications, this PowerShell training knowledge will surely going to help them. So yeah, discover the course, and because we have done all the professional training with a good like organization like Mindmajix, which we are representing, and with us, so we will be getting yeah, a certification of certificate of achievement for your course. Yeah, so that's cover up the whole syllabus, and cover up a little bit of familiarity of like a little bit of getting familiar with the basically the as such a PowerShell language. we will having a little bit of deep dive into two of the topics in this demo, that is getting started with Windows PowerShell and working with variables, arrays, and hash table. Basically, open a PowerShell like command prompt. So this is one part of command and shell in which we will write all the scripts, and it has like a built-in help system. We will create pipelines, everything. We write commands here. Like we write different commands in this script console, which I have told you earlier. Like I have written earlier, get basically random command here using simple, context of example, and we have written certain commands here. Like this way, we will write commands in this. This is one part, and other is like basically Visual Studio Code, which so this is an editor in which we create different kind of an PowerShell command. We can select a language and we can write different kind of scripts here. Like basically, we can execute our scripts in this application. So we just have written one command to know what version of PowerShell I am using in this computer. I have written in Visual Studio. So we will write scripts in Visual Studio Code, and we can also execute commands in this editor. So we have basically our PowerShell development is switched over into two parts. One is PowerShell console. We write commands in this, and other is basically Visual Studio, in which we write scripts. As a newer versions, it is always recommended that we should be using Visual Studio. We will just cover up our demonstration by working on this last topic. Respect time is working on variables, arrays, and hash tables. Basically, as told, like variables are the no first containers that they are there to store our memory things store our like data in the memory, and we are using variables to do complex calculations. All the complex calculations can be done. So just to let you get a gist of like how the variables can be used, I will let you understand that that can be done into two ways. Either we can write on console as earlier. So we can write some variable a and give it a value to certain value like hello PowerShell. And that variable is created. Then we can just echo that variable. It will say hello PowerShell. So this $a is equal to hello PowerShell. This statement, this command says that we have created one storage container in memory to store one small information, that is a string, one small text, hello PowerShell, in computer memory, given it a name. That memory I have given a name small a. So there is a one small information, hello PowerShell. I want to store that information so that I can display that information sometime later in futures. So whenever I say $A again, whenever I say that label again to the PowerShell engine, it will show me data stored information. It is stored forever in computer memory unless we close the console or computer is off. So variables are a way to store our information for complex calculations, to use that information in doing complex calculations. Again, then the topic comes of there are different types of variables. So there are different types of variables. What I have told you, one is called basically string variable. So string variable is any text which we have written, like PowerShell. So this is a string. So variables are of different types. So when we write these variables, so we just write $A is equal to this PowerShell, where we will be writing, because I'm writing from digital pen, so there may be some issues. So what I say that when I write this, I have what I have done that I have what I have done. I have assigned the value of this variable, and this is not. I have written something like PowerShell. If I'm able to let you see the things in clarity, as I told you, when we write $A is equal to certain value, say PowerShell, we are actually going to assign the value of this into computer memory cell. So there is a computer memory cell, and this is labeled as A, and we are sending this value with name A. We're sending this value with name A into computer memory that contains this PowerShell variable. Whenever we want to refer this value, we simply write $A in command prompt. It will just go into PowerShell engine, and it will just go into PowerShell engine, retrieve the value from that memory, and let that value in PowerShell print again into the computer display. That is displayed into computer. So variables are there to store the temporary values into computers, and we will come to the topic of hash tables, arrays, and hash tables. So just to cover up the things that variables are of many type, like one is int variable. It is there are types of variable because there are different kind of values. Int variable is basically integer variables. So integer variables like 1, 2, 3. If we want to store these values, we have to name these variables as int. Okay, why we have to name this values as int? Because we have to name this variable as int because if we don't name that this variable as int, then there will be a chances that for simple numbers like 1, we will be allocating some unnecessary large memory to store this variable, instead of it is needed only small amount of memory. So if we are writing 1 in this amount of memory, instead of it should be written like 1 in very small amount of memory. So ultimately our memory size will increase unnecessary, instead of we should be needing only very small amount of memory to store this 1, 2, 3 numbers, right? So variables have different types, and if we want to write efficient programs, we have to define variables with different types, right? So yeah, so there are a lot of concepts related to variables we will covering in this training. Last topic I want to like to cover to respect time is like hash tables. So hash tables is like dictionaries. We want to have a key value pair, like a person has a name in literal, like certain names like Ram, like John, Ron, whatsoever is the name, but that name has a category. Category means what is that name? That is value. Value is like that it is a name. Same way, the person have joined some organization. So organization name has a value. That is, it can be any company name, Microsoft, Google. But what category of that name is? Category of that name is it is an organization. So when we have to store the two related values as a pair, that organization, Microsoft, second organization, Google, like that way, name, some person John, some person Doe. So we have to create a key value pair. One key contains categories and other contains its associated values. So that is known as hash table. So we are like just creating a okay, because I think a screen is little bit, we can write that thing here, then I will immediately show that thing written in like notepad, so that you can view it. I'm like I think it is a little bit invisible. Just give me a second. I just write $user at the rate this, and then I will give certain name is equal to character this suppose Joe, character close, and then I will add another category. Then I will say phone. Then I will assign it a value, certain number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, and that's pretty much. I can close this, and I have made a hash table and stored that hash table in like a variable. So if I just use that variable and say, get me that complete structure of that hash table, it will just show very beautifully that those things, that name is Joe and its phone number is this. So hash tables are really very cool data structures, uh, cool containers of information that will store the same way as variables store the values, but in more efficient and manageable manner in the computer memory. So for each type of applications, while doing the script programming, we need different categories of programming constructs. One time we need variables. They are only right because we unnecessarily don't need large structures, computer data structures to store, smaller things. If we want to store single number, variables are good enough. If we want to collection of numbers, arrays are good enough. If we want to store, having a some certain kind of category and associated value pair kind of data, we need hash tables for them. And here we have seen the example. So I will just copy that example here, and for you guys, I will try to uh, show that example in. So basically, yeah, so this is the way hash table is written in PowerShell. If you write this command, you if you write this command exactly, that is that $user is equal to @name is equal to Joe, phone number is equal to this, and if we just write again this variable dollar user again at command prompt, then we will see the result written as basically uh, name value, and there's some divider line like this. It will show beautifully that computer is storing these all those information with as a one unit, like name is stored like as Joe, and phone is stored like value of 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. So this is not like variable. It has stored the information in a complex manner, but it has uses that if we want to store certain values as a key value pair, this is called basically this is key, and this is its value. This is another key, and this is another value. So sometimes we need this kind of data structures, and we'll store like this. So after this, like I think we have covered this whole syllabus, and we can wind up the demo session here. And thank you very much.